What up, YouTube? WebMike here again, and Avatar 2, The Way of Water. What a feast of the eyes that one was, much like the first one. And much like the first one, there were moments in it when the technology employed made me flinch or try to swat away something on screen because it really felt like I was there. And that really helped to get into the immersion aspect beyond just, the lights dimming and everyone focusing on what's on screen. And it was nice to have that in the theater again. I remember having that back in 2009, and it was nice to see the technology is still as good as it was, and if not improved upon in this movie. And the characters, thankfully, are even better than last time. Jake Sully has grown from being just this outsider to an insider to a chieftain and now a father and now truly one of the people. And I feel that happened in stages, because in the first movie he had his consciousness transferred after there was this whole ritual process that was going forth where he would learn their ways and become more and more like them and understand them, until finally at the end of the movie when his consciousness transfers from his human body to his new avatar body. And Neytiri is grown as Chiefess? I guess that's what you would call her. Zoe Saldana, just like Sam Worthington, kills it in their performances. They're excellent parents. The children are also really great too, especially the second youngest child. He's definitely the one the movie focuses on more. Sigourney Weaver, I was surprised playing Kira, the daughter of her avatars. I'm not quite sure how that all happened. I'm sure maybe I'll pick up something on a second viewing, but I guess that's one little stumbling the story takes. By the way, there's a lot of stumbling of the story in this, but thankfully some of the characters have such great moments that allow me to keep on going along with the movie. Also, we have another thing is Kira, I think her name is. That's Grace's avatar's daughter. She appears to have this connection with Awa, maybe the whole planet, sort of like how in Avatar: The Last Airbender, the avatar is an embodiment of Earth made manifest. Maybe that's a bit of what we're seeing here. I mean, also to harp on Avatar: The Last Airbender. So, was book 1 air? Book 2 is water? Are we going to have earth and fire next? Have to wonder. Because in this movie we see water Na'vi people. Are we going to see subterranean and volcanic Na'vi people? Maybe. I don't know. Some of the title names have already dropped for the next 3 movies. I don't know how that'll tie in, but hey, for all we know, they could just be working titles. Anyway, interesting thing is that Colonel Quaritch is back, but this time he's in an avatar body with the memory imprints of what he had up to the final battle. Really interesting to see how that happened off screen in the first movie. We didn't hear about it, but hey, we had to shoehorn a way in for a character to come back that we all liked. And we did like him. Colonel Quaritch, in any other James Cameron movie, would be the main character because he is so competent and skilled and determined. He succeeds despite the universe trying to conspire against him, and he refuses to die up until a certain point. Spoiler alert. But no, and then he apparently has his own arc that he's going on. I really hope they don't just end up recreating Avatar 1 with him. But a story needs a good villain. First and foremost. If the protagonist doesn't have an antagonist that can challenge them, you're going to have a weak story. Like, that's why in The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, Rey wasn't really that compelling of a protagonist because she just kept succeeding in things she did, never really got hurt. Well, needless to say, that doesn't happen in this movie. I don't see any another great thing I can say about this movie is that there's never a point that feels as though the story is being influenced by outside sources. Let's just put it that way. James Cameron in this is telling his story his way. No modern language is finding its way in. Maybe some 90s style language, but that might have been what Jake Sully grew up with. It's a bit of earth phrases and old habits die hard. Maybe being a 90s child myself, I don't mind it so much, but I do make it a point of having verisimilitude where if you're in another world, you shouldn't have phrases from our existence finding its way into the movies. Kind of breaks immersion. Another great thing, what was it? That's what it was. Another great thing in this movie is having a strong family unit that's working together. The father and the mother are both working to make sure their children are protected and cared for. The children, being cheeky little buggers they are sometimes, always still make sure to respect their parents and work together. And that was refreshing to see in a movie. Kind of like why I liked Violent Night as well. And that... But no, yeah, how much of an overview do I give? Well, I don't... Like I said, after the humans land, after some skirmishes, Jake decides, oh, I need to move my family away because they're after me. Which I don't understand, because if they know where you are, and if they know your people are the tree people, won't they know to just keep haranguing them until you are exposed? And even if you flee to the water tribe, aren't you just endangering them too? Now, I can excuse some poor decisions because in the case of his family's safety being involved, I can understand there might be some times when he wouldn't make the best strategic decision. But it's always heartfelt. And as far as other themes involved, well, when they say things such as the way of water, it seems to be kept intentionally vague, and I think that's a great way to put it forward because it lets the audience put their own interpretation into it, such as, oh, keep in mind the way of water. It always winds and churns and doesn't always go straight, but it finds its way to the end. And that can be applied to our own lives, whereas some people might be able to go through in the one direction that they chose and it works out for them. Some people have to go up and down, bob and weave, maybe go a little lateral to find a better way, to find a better path despite the resistance or because of the resistance. Like I said, just like the first movie, James Cameron has these high concept ideas that he tries to make palatable to the general audience. And I try not to be too harsh on it because I do understand he's trying to make this accessible to people. I just wish that there were parts that gelled better together. Be that as it may, I mean, I've been a fan of James Cameron since, let's see, Terminator 2, Aliens, True Lies, Alita Battle Angel. I even saw Titanic when it came out. Only once. And there's a lot of love I have for the ocean. Like all the ecosystems that are at work in there, all the different species. I love the ocean. And it definitely comes through in here because when he made the first one, the entire ecosystem of Pandora on the surface was designed to feel like a coral reef on the surface. And I was a little curious why we're going underwater because he already achieved that with the first movie, but the technology employed to give us actually seeing the actors like underwater and doing all this, and I even hear that Kate Winslet could hold her breath for 7 minutes because of this. I'm like, that's impressive. Makes it more believable to me, at least. One other thing though, high frame rate made it look like too much of a video game at certain points. It didn't kill it for me, but it did take me out a little bit. So Guess I'd give it a 7 out of 10, just like the previous one. I definitely say to recommend it if you've liked the first one or the second one. And even if you don't, and especially if you're a creative person, I'd say go out and see this. I mean, I have some role-playing game ideas that I have in mind that have only been further nurtured by seeing this movie. And I think it'll probably work out for other people, even, whether you're writing a book, a show, even if you're not like me doing a role-playing game, if you're doing anything creative, I think it'll behoove you to watch this movie and the first one. That's all I got to say. I want to thank you for sticking around this whole time. Did I get anything right or wrong? Let me know in the comments below. Drop a like if you liked it, and I'll be seeing you later. WebMike, out.